that diversity needs to be celebrated, and that we need to let people know that we have each other's back, we care about each other, and that love is the main emphasis that we all have in making our country great. Thank you.
Each local league, including here in Central Jersey, is richer for encouraging and fostering diversity among its membership.
And so to call an event that celebrates diversity, I think is a wonderful thing.
I was living here without an official documentation. It took 6 years for my application to be processed by the immigration office. But finally, with the help of God, I received all of the documents necessary to be a full member of the U.S. society and to eventually become a United States citizen.
I am an immigrant. I came to America in 1974 from Alexandria, Egypt. Shortly after I arrived, I found a job. I worked very, very hard. I have contributed in the workforce for many years, and I paid my taxes in full. And I had the privilege of interact with many diverse groups: women's leadership, Asians, South Asians, Latinos, African Americans, LGBT, veterans, millennials, and AMINA, which is short for Association of Middle Eastern and North African Heritage. One time I heard the Vice President of Diversity at Johnson & Johnson saying, "We don't want you to leave your identity at the door when you come into work every morning. We want you to bring your own identity with you to work." Because you see, diverse groups bring better business results than groups that are not diverse. This is a fact. O humankind, we created you from a male and a female, and we made you races and tribes for you to get to know each other. The most noble of you in the sight of God are those of you who are most conscientious, and God is omniscient, fully aware. Us, as human beings, we need to move forward with love if we're going to change hearts and minds. We cannot focus on just helping one group of oppressed people. If you want to liberate your own group, you must believe in liberation for all groups. Even if we are not among those who are suffering, we need to build relationships with those who are vulnerable. Love others, and others will love you back. Get involved and be in service of others. After all, what's the meaning of life? It has no meaning until you give it a meaning by serving others. You will love yourself because you are of value to others. Thank you so much.
Tell me what America looks like.
This is what America looks like.
Tell me what America looks like.
This is what America looks like.
Go, go.
And you are called to show a special caring toward the have-nots of this world, toward the strangers of this world. And you know what? When we do that, we're going to be enriched by it. When we choose to look at diversity as a problem that should divide us and make us afraid of each other, that's not what God is calling us to. That's not what our American tradition calls us to. When we welcome those immigrants, those strangers, into our American community, it enriches us. It makes us stronger. And so this is why it's so sad that so many in our leadership now, in our national culture, are saying, no, let's not have diversity. No, let's not welcome the immigrants. Because that's not what our faith traditions call us to, and it's not what the American tradition calls us to. We are a country of immigrants that became strong because of the immigrants that came to this country. Almost all of us are descended from immigrants. Unless you're a Native American, almost all of us are descended from immigrants to this country. As my wife's poster says there, love one another. This is the central call of all the great religions. They all zero in on love. That's the heart of it, love. And you know, anybody who says, no, that's not the heart of what it is, they're leading us down a blind alley. And so we've got some real challenges that we're facing because we're being told that no, we shouldn't accept immigrants. We ought to be afraid of them. We ought to exclude the immigrants that are already here, and there's so many, as many of you know, that are really afraid right now. They don't know what's going to happen. Even if they thought they were here legally, they aren't sure what's going to happen next. We stand in favor of love and of inclusivity and of diversity because it's what we as a nation are about, it's what we who are people of faith are about, and it's what God calls us to. You know, if all the flowers are the same, it's nice, but it kind of gets boring after a while. I think God likes a lot of different flowers in God's flower gardens because it's way more beautiful.
You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
Some inspiration to move forward, to start the whole need for letting people know that we are all one. We all work together. We're all in this country to make it greater. Thank you so much for coming. I cannot tell you how grateful I am.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
That if it had not been for Washington's victories at Trenton and Princeton, we'd be singing God Save the Queen.
It's one reason why we have a road, and that's because it leads to somewhere.
In defense of the Republic, to the military.
First in the eyes of his countrymen. Here.